All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Designing the Best You. So, before we get started, I want to encourage you that if anything in this episode or any other episode resonates with you, head to the links in the show notes to join our email list and communities. It's really important to stay connected. We were designed for community, okay? So, let's dive in. Today's episode, we are diving into the nervous system, okay? You know, like, and hear me out as we talk through this, okay? You know how you feel, you know how it feels when you're overwhelmed by stress, right? Your heart is pumping. Oh, I don't know. I had a couple of those gut-wrenching things this week. I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Your heart's pumping, your palms sweating, feel like there's this like 50-pound weight on your chest and preventing you from catching your breath, right? The short breaths. That is your body's response, your natural response to that, that's known as the fight or flight. It's it's incredibly beneficial. It's an adaptation for surviving physical threats in nature. However, when it's triggered too often or it's left on, that on switch, you're just constantly up and going for too long, it literally wreaks havoc on your health, especially if you're already dealing with a chronic illness. You've got an autoimmune disease, you've got diabetes, you've got it just adds to it, okay? Under normal circumstances, this response, right, that's fight or flight, it helps us as humans effectively respond to immediate danger, right? We talked about this in previous episodes, the bear running, right? But if this response is activated too frequently, okay, yes, as parents, okay, yes, if you're in a high level position in an organization, okay, it's activated frequently. But it's activated frequently or it's on for extended periods of time and you don't know how to regulate a condition called chronic stress, it leads to so many of those health issues: heart disease, sleep problems, digestive issues, depression, obesity, memory impairment, and even autoimmune disease, guys. Yeah, it's that prolonged release of the stress hormone cortisol, okay, that disrupts so many processes in our body. It leads to systemic inflammation, a weakened immune system, making you so much more susceptible to illness. I mean, how many of you guys are like sick all the time? How many of your kids are sick all the time? And no, don't blame it on, oh, it's the beginning of the school year. Everyone's getting sick. No. Okay. Sorry. Not sorry at the same time. So I want to give you 10 signs right now that you are stuck in fight or flight mode. Okay. And I want you to, if you're driving, maybe pause this or pull over and take notes. Or if you're sitting and listening, just like stop yourself and like write down or check off a box and say, yep, that's one. Yep, that's one. Okay. I want you to do that. So, first one, you're constantly feeling anxious or panicked. You can't seem to relax, even though you should be able to. Side note here, I don't know how many times, 5, 6, 7 years ago, my husband would be like, okay, Vanessa, sit down, let's watch a movie. And I couldn't sit still. I couldn't relax. I was like, okay, I'm up, I'm doing this, I'm up and doing that. How many of you are like that? Okay. Third one, your body feels like chronically just tense. You're just like, ugh, like you can't, right? You're prone to outbursts of anger or even sudden tears. You're just like, I actually had a lady this week. She's not a client yet, but we're having a discovery call, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I just want to say, all of a sudden, I've just been angry. It's not even that time of month." Yeah, that happens. Okay. Your immune system is always weakened. You catch colds often. Your digestion is off, and your gut health is suffering. Maybe you have difficulty sleeping or staying asleep. Fatigue is a constant in your life, no matter what, how much rest you get. And no, guys, I don't want to hear the excuse. I used to give this excuse and I don't want to hear it, but it's just the mom life. It's just being a parent of young kids. There is a difference between waking up tired, going through the day tired, being wired at night, staying up scrolling, all that stuff. There's a difference between fatigue and fatigue. Even when you fall asleep, you're not getting the rest afterwards. There is a difference. Okay. Maybe you have memory problems, or everyone has been coining the phrase over the years, the past few years, brain fog, confusion. Maybe those are all common occurrences for you. Or the last one being you have symptoms from chronic illnesses that worsen or never seemed to improve regardless of treatments. How many of y'all have been there? I was the healthiest of eaters. I monitored my workouts. I did all the things there. And I still was like, what in the world? I feel like I'm getting worse. Like, how in the world can I get worse? I don't understand. My stress, I was doing meditation activities, all this stuff. I was like, why am I getting worse? Raise your hand if that any one of those resonated with you. And it's not like that every once in a while you're feeling anxious about something or you're tense about something, you're angry about something that really means something to you and you're passionate about. Okay, this is like constant. Okay, this is excessive outbursts of anger. Okay, and it's not related to like substances or anything like that, or detoxing things like that. So I want you to put that all in the context. Okay, so what then is the stress doing to your gut and brain? So here's the thing. The nervous system is often such a huge missing link, and why clients I've noticed over the years just don't fully heal. I had clients who are like, okay, yeah, I did the diet. Okay, I did the exercise thing. Okay, I'm resting, but I'm just like not, just not feeling better. And then I was feeling bad. I'm like, why doing all the things, right? Right. It's why you don't heal despite eating the right diets, following your protocols, doing saunas, drinking filtered water. And you're like, why still am I not feeling good? Like, why am I still experiencing right at least one of those 10 symptoms? But here's the thing. Did you know that there is a two-way street, two-way between your gut and your nervous system? Okay. That connection between the systems, okay, is known as your gut brain axis or your vagus nerve. Vagus nerve, however you want to say it. It's been a set of words that has been thrown out there now over the past couple years. Okay. But here's the thing is that connection is incredibly important. You know why? Because it's the state of our nervous system. The state of our nervous system directly affects how our gut functions and vice versa. So if your gut is crap, your nervous system is going to be out of whack. Your autonomic nervous system, your parasympathetic, your sympathetic, which is that fight or flight, it's going to be out of whack. And if that's out of whack from like trauma, your gut's going to suffer. That is what I've found so, oh my gosh, I can't even count how many clients they're like, oh my gosh, I have trauma issues. Well, let's work on that emotional aspect of it. And then we do tests because I'm always about test and not guess. And then their guts all messed up. They're like, no, but everything's fine. No. Or people come to me like, oh my gosh, I have gut issues. I'm like, well, do you have trauma? Can you relax? Oh, yeah, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. As we go through our protocols and we go through our sessions, it comes out. It always does. Okay. Here's the thing is modern society has put extra stress on our bodies. Okay, right? It's keeping up with the Jones, right? It's got to keep our kids in all these activities, which side note, please don't. Like just let your kids be out in nature and experience some things. They don't always have to be on a team that's traveling and running and going and doing and all these different extracurricular activities. Okay, that makes them their nervous systems a wreck. Okay, so yes, modern society has put extra stress on our bodies, and it often leads to that overactive fight or flight response, and it causes such damage to our guts and our nervous systems. Okay, here's a key: you don't have to do what everyone else is doing out there. You don't have to have your kid involved in so many things. You don't have to. You can say no. It's probably one of the best words you can say these days is no. No, thank you. Not for our family right now. Okay? Not for me right now. Yourself too, right? And here's the thing too is modern diet and lifestyle, right? Our whole SAD diet, the standard American diets, it also plays a role in destroying, completely destroying beneficial bacteria. Yes, there's beneficial bacteria found in our gut microbiome. And that leads to all these digestive issues. That leads to bloating and gas and indigestion. I actually had a client this week came to me and is like, oh my gosh, I am so freaking bloated. I'm like, yeah, been there. Okay, so let's check your diet. Okay. Let's check your stress levels. Okay. Right. There's other things that we go through as well, too. But stress can have and I'm not going to stop talking about this, y'all. So, I mean, if you want to tune me out and never listen to my episodes again, go for it. But I'm going to tell you the truth and I'm going to keep speaking it. Stress has a major negative impact on our gut health, on our brains, on our entire bodies and their systems. It's not just dedicated to one system. Okay. When our fight or flight response is triggered, okay. And I know many of you have heard this, and I'm going to keep repeating it. When our fight or flight response is triggered, blood flow is redirected away from our digestive system. I mean, who needs to pee or poop when you're running from a bear, right? When your house is on fire, who needs to do any of that stuff? You don't, okay? But it's directed away from the digestive system and towards muscles that we need to fight or flight. That's why that's why we get tense in our fists. We form fists because we're ready to fight, right? But what happens is that leads to symptoms such as cramping and bloating and diarrhea and constipation. How many of y'all been there? I've been there way too many times, Stephen. Can't even count. God only knows the number of times, okay? So when working with our nervous system and we're working to heal it, it's so important to remember. And too many practitioners miss this, which is why I've been bridging the gap between this and connecting the dots between trauma and stress and gut health and nervous system and how we manage, basically just how we manage stress and emotions and how it affects our bodies. But I'm going to go into that emotional aspect in other episodes. You guys are going to hear me speak on this for till kingdom comes. Okay. But for now, I want you to know that it is definitely possible. It is possible to rewire our nervous systems to a calmer state so that we can restore balance, that homeostasis, right, in our bodies. I don't care what kind of traumas you've been through. I don't care what kind of stress you've had in your life. Guys, we all have it. And I'm not going to say it's going to stop, but it's all about teaching our bodies how to balance it out. You think about a heartbeat, okay? Everyone who's been through trauma is like, I was telling this to my counselor last year. I'm like, you just want a normal day, like just even keel. Y'all, even keel on a heart rate means you're dead. We want to be able to teach our systems that the ups and downs, the ups and downs, and the ups and downs, we keep coming, right? You have to keep crossing that homeostasis line, right, in order to get to the other side. You have to experience both sides, but it's teaching your body how to get back to that, right? It allows, when we do that, it allows our bodies, allows us to rebuild healthy bacteria in the gut and strengthen the connection between our brain and our gut for overall better wellness. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you feel like your body is in constant fight or flight? Maybe you're exhausted. And I don't just mean like from a couple days of lack of sleep or you had a big project or something. I mean like exhausted. You are overwhelmed. Little noises are like, oh my gosh, everyone just shut up. I think I actually said that to my kids today, right? It's not, that's not normal. Okay. In any way, shape, or form, is that normal? Okay. To be having that go on a regular basis, to have noises just piss you off and overwhelm you. Okay. To have just normal activities do things like that. Okay. If something like brain fog or maybe confusion or just like forgetfulness, if those things keep surfacing, no matter how much you rest, you have to take the time to look at your nervous system and uncover, dive deep. That's what we do here. We find the root cause, determine why it's stuck in overdrive. Okay. It's like I was talking in my mentorship program this week. We were talking about it's like having, when we're in the States, it's like having your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. You're like stuck. You're like, I don't know whether to stop. I don't know where to go, but I'm going and I'm stopping all at the same time, I think, but I'm not, right? You're stuck because you're afraid. Your system doesn't know what to do yet. Okay. So as I just mentioned briefly earlier, our human nervous system is composed of two main branches. You have parasympathetic and you have sympathetic. Okay. Now go with me for anyone who knows a lot in depth about it. There's other systems too, okay? But the parasympathetic is known as the rest and digest activities. It slows down our heart rate, it lowers our blood pressure, reduces inflammation, increases circulation, aids in digestion. Y'all, if you have cold hands and feet, your parasympathetic is off. Okay. Okay. This is that relaxed state. Okay. Now, if you're stuck in the relaxed state, there's other trauma issues that you have going on, and we can talk about that again on other episodes. But you don't want to be stuck in either one of them for too long. Okay. Now, you have the sympathetic branch, and that's responsible again for that fight and flight. Okay. Increases the heart rate and blood pressure, decreases circulation, reduces digestion. And that's all taking place while we feel that stress. Okay. The two are designed, which is so amazing how God designs our bodies. It's so just complex. I could spend an entire lifetime, and so could you and other people, just figuring out how complex it is and how it all works together. And sometimes we just have to say, you know what? Only God, only God. But the two work together in balance to help us remain healthy. However, when we have toxins, we have illnesses such as parasites, mold, Lyme disease, other conditions, all these things, our nervous system becomes overactivated and it's stuck in that mode, which means even when there's no physical danger present, there's no bear, there's no, any whatever it is, our body is still responding as if it's running for its freaking life. So, here's how all of these root causes can affect our nervous system directly. Okay, again, this is something you might want to take notes on. You might want to just like, oh, that's something to look into. Oh, maybe that's something I should book a call with Vennessa on to uncover some of this stuff or ask questions on. Okay. Yeah. So the first one is parasites. Yes, worms are freaking real and live in our system. Yes, little bugs live in our system. Okay. They actually overstimulate the sympathetic nervous system. They lead to inflammation throughout the entire body. These little guys cause big, big problems. And here's the thing is they not only affect your gut health, they end up affecting your brain if left untreated. Okay. The next one, mold. And I'm going to have a whole set of episodes on this because this is just, it's unbelievable. Probably personally because I have a mold allergy and it mold directly affects our body's stress reaction pathways. It creates an inflammatory response in the brain and other organs. It leads to chronic fatigue, anxiety, depression. Y'all, it's serious. Okay. The cool thing is mold, we need mold outside. It's supposed to decompose. It's supposed to break materials down. That's what it's designed for. It's been an issue for humans as long as humans have been inhabiting indoor spaces, from caves to wood huts to wherever they're living, stone houses. My son's mentioned igloos this morning. I don't know about igloos, but you know what I mean, okay? But did you know that mold is even mentioned in the Bible as both a physical and spiritual sickness? Challenge you to look that one up, okay? But many of my clients have become stuck in their healing. Again, just like I said earlier, we're like, oh my gosh, we've done the diet, we've done the rest, we've done the exercise, we've done, meditation and stress reduction stuff. We've done all the supplements, right? Please don't get addicted to supplements. They're only used to supplement for a period of time. Okay. By the way, they're like, I'm doing all the things, but they're stuck. Okay. And it's because a lot of practitioners, God bless all of their hearts out there. Okay. The intentions are real, but they miss that mold piece. And I know mold has hit me hard multiple times in the past in different states. It's not secluded to one different area. I was in the desert and I had mold affected. I have been in the Midwest and affected by it too. Been down south, been affected. Okay. But did you know that it actually looks like things like sinusitis? So if y'all have sinus problems, that's where mold lives, your sinuses. It's allergies. They're all like, "Oh, yeah, the pollen's high and everything." Well, mold spores travel with everything, okay? It's with asthma. If you've got asthma, check the mold. Food sensitivities, chronic skin rashes. I've had clients who broke out in hives, and I'm like, um, okay, maybe it's a histamine issue, and sometimes it is, but I missed the piece of mold early on. But when we figure that out, oh, it looks like anxiety, insomnia, irritable bowel disease. It's insane. But the hard thing is that mold is everywhere and mold can you can't smell it. You don't always see it until it gets really bad. It lives in walls. It lives in dust. By the way, if you are a clean freak, congratulations, keep cleaning, okay? I know it's hard with kids. I'm there. Clean, please. Clean, clean, clean. Dust, once a week, come on, dust, okay? But here's the thing is people with mold sickness are literally sick in some form or fashion all the time. It affects so many systems in the body and it looks like other illnesses. So some of you may be like, "Oh yeah, I've got rheumatoid arthritis. Oh yeah, I've got whatever autoimmune disease." Okay, yeah, you may have that, but you could also be having some mold issues that are adding to that sickness. Okay. Then so we have parasites, we have mold, we have chemical toxicity. Okay. Chemical toxicity is toxins, pesticides, heavy metals, solvents, even environmental pollutants. Now, we cannot avoid them all. We can't. When I was in Phoenix and I lived there, we lived within, a handful of miles from the largest styrofoam manufacturer. What came up on a chemical toxicity test for me? Styrene. Well, I can't avoid it. I could avoid eating out of styrofoam stuff, but I couldn't avoid breathing it in because of the environment that I was in. But all of those pollutants, they contribute to the fight or flight mode. They increase our stress hormone, cortisol, and adrenaline. Okay, so by just checking some of the basic things like your beauty products, your lotions, your shampoos, your body washes, the sprays that you use. Seriously, if you have, by the way, on the side note, if you have thyroid issues, please don't get any of like the Victoria's Secret sprays, any of the sprays, and spray it right on your thyroid. Skin, guys, takes in everything. Okay, that stuff has chemicals in it. It destroys stuff. Okay. Then we have Lyme disease, guys. That is a hefty disease. I know someone from childhood who has Lyme disease, and kids do too, and it's linked to interfering with nerve signals. Okay, and it's just, yeah, I'm not an expert in it, but it does, yeah, there are problems. Then there's also, we have glyphosate. It is a toxic herbicide. It's found in food sources. It's linked so much to negatively impacting our nervous system functioning. Okay, I highly, always will, have been, and always will, organic produce as much as you possibly can, at least the dirty 13 now. And no spraying your lawns. Y'all, you don't need a perfect lawn. Like, you don't need to spray all the crap on there. Like, let some things grow. It's okay. Use your hands and pull the weeds. Like, don't spray stuff on there. If you really want to get rid of some of the weeds, there are vinegar solutions that you can actually get on Amazon. You can make your own, and that kills the stuff just as well. Okay. Plus, you got other kids and stuff in your neighborhood that are breathing that stuff in and causing other issues. You're hurting other people by doing that. Just think about that. Okay. Then you've got toxins like chlorine, fluoride. Those are found in our water supply. There's so many things found in your water supply. That's why I highly recommend doing my HTMA test, because we uncover so many things like that. But those things can affect our nervous system, and they create that state of inflammation that affects nerve function. Okay, this is why, again, clean water is so important. Okay, so many things change when I've had clients run the HTMA test. They have all these toxins that are in their heavy metals and stuff like that in their hair follicles, and just by changing clean drinking water and getting rid of some of the other toxins, and then teaching their system how to detoxify these things, because sometimes it's all backed up because your liver gets congested, they feel so much better. Okay, you've got other things in our food, right? Please eat whole foods as much as possible. I know it's hard, I know it's not convenient sometimes, but please, 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 because so many things I actually found out at Walmart a couple weeks ago is their grass-fed beef. They're injecting stuff in there. They're injecting all kinds of shots and vaccines and stuff like that in there. But we have added hormones and antibiotics, okay? And it's used in that conventional agriculture. Please, you only get one body here on earth. And our job is to take care of it, okay? It really, really is, okay? So, so, oh my gosh. Here's the thing, though, I'm truly passionate about. The one that people rarely, if at all, talk about: trauma. If you've been listening to me at any period of time, you're watching me on social media, it's trauma. Okay. Trauma seriously dysregulates our nervous system. Okay. To the point where we can no longer experience emotions, and we can't regulate the experiences that we have, good or bad. It can be so incredibly debilitating. And I speak from one of personal experience, watching people around me, clients, okay, is debilitating. It significantly impacts the like our quality of life. Um, I don't want to have to cry here. Not have to, but it's like I feel it coming. So when our sympathetic nervous system activity is pushed to a point of hyper arousal, okay, people are in that permanent fight or flight state. And you can't experience heightened emotions of joy, of sadness, of anger. Like you can't. You're literally just like stuck. So there's a trauma expert, and he wrote The Body Keeps Score, Vanderkolk. He states that, I want to speak appropriately on this, that it is damage to a trauma survivor's filtering systems in the nervous system that results in difficulties distinguishing between relevant and irrelevant stimuli that overwhelm a survivor's coping mechanisms. And this causes, listen up, that breakdown. It causes a breakdown in the normal homeostatic self regulating systems and results in a nervous system dysregulation. Okay. I mean, this was years ago when he wrote this. This was back in 2004, and he had been studying it for a long time before that, too. Okay. But all I can say is that all the things that were listed, okay, take a toll on our nervous system by throwing it off its delicate balance. And it really is a delicate balance. Our chronic illnesses interfere with communication between the two systems, leading to the exhaustion, leading to the brain fog, especially gut health. Okay. So many of you guys have come to me and be like, oh my gosh, I'm experiencing all these gut problems. Oh my gosh, like I feel like crap. I'm bloating, I'm constipated, diarrhea, oscillating between the two, maybe. Oh my gosh, I can't seem to do anything. I can't eat anything. Now it's like I can't eat anything. And the key to health and well-being, it lies in understanding how your nervous system works and what you can do to rewire it so that it functions more effectively. It's truly the first step to laying the foundation to deep healing. I mean, do you want to heal like deeply, or you just want to put a freaking band-aid on it? Okay. I'm sorry. Other practitioners, they may disagree. They may say, hey, I want to make some quick bucks and I want to, just give them the diet and exercise that, the masses use. Autoimmune protocol. It might work for you guys, but it's not sustainable. Okay. And you may be actually having some food sensitivities to those specific foods that they teach you to eat. Okay. Um, but I fundamentally believe that we need to focus on regulating our nervous system. Well, basically teaching it how to function properly so that it can do its job and integrate with the rest of the systems of the body. Okay, so if you want resources on how to regulate your nervous system so you can respond appropriately to situations, stressors in your life that we're always going to have, make sure you sign up for my weekly newsletter where we're talking about these things and how to get your body back into homeostasis naturally. Okay, naturally. I don't want on supplements or medications for long periods of time. No. Okay. So, as we talked about, we react to a physiological level, we react on a physiological level to trauma. And this bodily response is maintained through sustained changes in our nervous system. There's very strong evidence to support this, okay, that body-centered approaches help to regulate our nervous systems following any kind of trauma. Okay. If you have complex trauma, that goes deeper. Okay. But in regulating our nervous systems, my hope is to heal and mitigate some of these debilitating impacts of trauma. Okay. So I want to provide you with three, as we close out here, three restorative body centered approaches for healing the nervous system on your own. And obviously, I highly recommend getting on a call with me to see if you're fit for my healing program. And that link will be in the show notes. So the first thing is yoga. It's a physical practice that incorporates a combination of movement and breath work. Okay. And hold on a second here. So the three things here, like I said, the yoga, sorry. Um, it helps survivors of trauma, and we've all had some kind of trauma, guys. Okay. Don't suppress it. Okay. I did for many years. It all helps us find relief. Okay. So any kind of mindful movement has been shown to regulate the nervous system. Okay. And it increases that parasympathetic activity. Okay. It reduces our heart rate and blood pressure, like we talked about, okay? And it promotes stress resilience. That's the goal, the stress resilience by improving functions of our brain or functioning parts of our brain that regulate one's response to threats. Okay, so if you've been affected by trauma, I really, really, especially complex trauma, go search on YouTube for trauma informed yoga. Very slow, very, because if you just dive into regular yoga, you're actually going to do a little bit more harm. Okay. So some of those somatic activities are going to be things that you're going to want to do. Okay. The second one, okay, so we have yoga, and then we have studies that we have mindfulness and meditation. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead of myself here. Those again increase that parasympathetic nervous system activity that brings us back into balance. That's always my goal, is to bring us back into balance. Okay. Um, it There's so much research that has been focused on mindfulness and meditation, and this notice isn't like positive affirmations and that type of stuff. It's literally what I like to do. I'll just, let me just say what I like to do. Okay. What I like to do personally is I'll get out a pad of paper. Sometimes it's blank, it doesn't have lines or anything on it. I'll get out some maybe art materials. My sons gave me 60 colored gel pens for my birthday. And I put on some soft, like usually soft instrumental jazz or classical. And I just meditate on the word of God, to be honest with you. I've never left reading the word unsatisfied. It always leaves me with satisfaction, always. And I encourage you guys to do that too. I encourage you to sit there and just breathe and just be mindful of where you're at. Give yourself grace, give yourself compassion. And I'm speaking to myself on this one. It's so important to do. And again, that regulates your system. And even you could actually take number 2 and number 3 here and bring it together, okay? Slow, deep breathing. Many people who are on that high, like fight or flight all the time, have short breathing. Okay, you've been in trauma, you're dealing with stuff, your body is just inflamed like crazy. You're like, right? But that slow, deep breathing has been shown to activate stretch receptors in your lungs, which influence I can't talk today, electrochemicals signals in the brain to increase parasympathetic nervous system activity. Okay. It increases heart rate variability. Okay. Which, I mean, I've got a Whoop, and I'll put that link in the show notes too. And I also have, I may even take this off too, if you can see it on, if you're watching the video part of this, I have an Apollo, and it sends vibrations into, into, um, on my body, and it helps me with the breathing and helps with increasing heart rate variability and that type of stuff. And it helps that breathing, getting yourself back into that calm state. It helps respond to changes in the environment. Okay, guys, we're going to have changes. We're going to have things that happen. Okay. We have to teach our bodies, if we weren't taught in childhood, which is where most of it happens. Again, we'll go into that deeper in other episodes. But if we haven't been taught that, and we've been running on constant go, go, go and high alert and hypervigilance and just nonstop for most of us decades now, there's a problem. So if you truly, truly want to heal, even as scary as it can be, I'm telling you, I have been deep inside of me, and I'm probably going deeper on some level or another. It's scary, but you know what? What comes out on the other side is scary. Sometimes a little bit more scary, but healing. Okay, because I want you to know you're not alone in this. Okay, this is the work God has called me to do, and I will do it until the day that I die. Not that God didn't call me to any of the other work I have done in the past, but this is what my vocation, not my job now, is my vocation is. If I ever see a young child go through any of this, of having to deal with a heightened level of stress all the time, dealing with the symptoms, dealing with trying to address trauma on their own, oh, watch out, mama bear, right? But anyways, we'll dive into that later again too. But if you need clarity and you want to figure out what your body's telling you in all this, you're trying to get help with your nervous system, you're like, I don't even know what that all means, or maybe I do a little bit, but I can't figure out the digestion part of it. I can't, oh my gosh, why do I keep getting all these autoimmune diseases? Why is just my gut, it was good yesterday and last week and I could poop regularly and now I can't? What's going on? Please reach out and get a free call with me. It doesn't hurt. It's 30 minutes of your life that could change your life. Okay. I'm not like other practitioners out there who are just reading books and taking courses, and then they all of a sudden know all the things. I have been in the trenches physically, emotionally, spiritually. I've been in the trenches. I've been in the valleys, guys. I've been in the valleys for years, and I'm climbing the mountain. And I want you to climb with me because at the top, it is beautiful. Okay. It is beautiful. So the link is in the show notes. And until next time, let's keep uncovering the root causes of your symptoms and designing the best you that this world so desperately needs.